Hi, my name is Kiva Brent and welcome to Style Scientist. First things first, congratulations on your first rental. This is huge and I'm so excited for you. But how do we start decorating it? So in today's video, I'm sharing 10 renter-friendly fixes that are going to turn your first apartment into the coolest place ever. Before we get into today's video though, please don't forget to subscribe to HGTV Handmade, but let's get started. So the first way to add a little personality to your rented space is with peel and stick wallpaper. That means that it has a sticky adhesive on the back that isn't going to ruin your wall, but does hold that wallpaper up. You just peel it down and you roll it on and you use a squeegee to attach it to your wall. It's actually very simple to apply and it is a great beginner DIY project. And don't forget, you don't just have to wallpaper your bedroom, you can wallpaper your closets, your pantries, any space in your house that has a surface, you can put peel and stick wallpaper on it. The next renter-friendly design swap you can make in your first apartment has to do with lighting and hardware. A great way to relay your design style and make a space your own is actually to switch out that hardware. So if you're a beginner DIYer, this is perfect for you because it's really easy to do. All you need to do is actually measure the holes that already exist in that cabinetry, and then you look at your local hardware store or online for pulls that work with your style, but also work with those measurements, because you don't want to have to drill new holes in those cabinets because that's not renter friendly. But this is actually a great way to add your own personality. Now, not only can you switch out the hardware in your rental, but you can also switch out the light fixtures. Now, this is something you can get an electrician to do, and it's really actually easy to swap out your light fixtures. All you do is get something that is scaled correctly to the space, and there are tons of tips online to figure out how to scale a light fixture to a particular room and just put it up there. All you need to do with that light fixture that came with the apartment is actually put it in a bag or put it in a container, label it, and then when it's time to move out of that rental, you're just going to put it back up. Same thing goes with that hardware. These are things that are reversible. So you're going to do something that works for you, and then you're going to go back to whatever the landlord put up, and they will be none the wiser. The next renter-friendly design tip I want to talk about is the use of the picture ledge. So if you don't know what a picture ledge is, it is a wooden ledge that's probably between 2 and 4 inches deep that you put up on your walls. And picture ledges aren't just for pictures. You can use them to hold books, to hold vases, to hold anything that is going to work with the shallow depth of those shelves. And I really love picture ledges because they allow you to have practical things become part of your decor, right? So they are twofers, right? So you don't have to spend all of your money on finding decorative items because you already have decorative items and there's things that you use every single day. Now let's talk curtains. So the way you can really take curtains to the very next level in your space is to hang them high and wide. If you can hang your curtains at least 6 to 8 inches above your window frame and 6 to 8 inches to either side of your window frame, that means that your curtains are really going to frame out those windows and actually help your space look a lot larger, as opposed to if you hang your curtains right on the window frame or just an inch above, and if you have the panels of the curtains really covering up that window. That actually makes the room look really small, and we never want to do that. We want to make our spaces always look as big as possible. Now, I also want you to use curtains because they add decor up on the wall. Curtains are such a valuable type of decor, and again, they are twofers because they have a practical and an aesthetic use. So get curtains, again, that work with your design style. So if there's a color that you're loving in your apartment, if there's a pattern that you're loving, find fabric that works with that. And I know this is a rented space, so there are actually renter-friendly curtain rod options that have adhesive pulls, but you can also put up curtains with just a few screws and some brackets. It's really easy to do, and chances are your rented space already has some brackets up there for you. So just throw up your own curtains. I promise you it's going to look fantastic. The next tip I want to give you is to incorporate hidden seating into your first apartment. So how are we going to do that? Are we going to hide some chairs somewhere? No. So what I want you to actually do is hide some ottomans in your design. So you can hide ottomans under console tables. You can also hide them under your coffee tables. A lot of coffee tables actually have built-in ottomans now, or you have coffee tables, again, that are like a waterfall and you can fit ottomans underneath. Hide them under there so that when guests come over, you do have a really nice and plush space for them to sit, and it's hidden all the rest of the time so that you don't have to worry about clutter. Now, if you want an ottoman out all the time, here's what I want you to do. Instead of getting a traditional coffee table, get an ottoman. You can get an ottoman that matches your current sofa or whatever you're using to sit in, or you can get an ottoman that is an accent ottoman. So you can get a fun fabric or a fun pattern and just kind of run wild with your design. But what you can do is use that ottoman as a coffee table and just put a tray on top. When you put that tray on top, you actually have a barrier between the ottoman and your drinks or your food or your decorative items so that they're not spilling over all the time, because you never want to drop a drink or some food on that ottoman, and you want your decor that you probably have on your coffee table to really pop. So adding that tray is actually going to elevate it and make it pop. Now let's talk televisions. We all love to watch TV. It's okay to admit that, but TVs can be such an eyesore. So what are we gonna do? Well, the main problem with televisions when you're designing a space is we put them on the wall and we're not sure what to do around them. How do we make them feel, like they belong in a space without wasting a precious wall space? Because again, we want to have decor up there and art that really represents us in our very first apartment. What I want you to start doing is actually incorporating your television into a gallery wall. And it doesn't have to be a traditional gallery wall. You can have 3 paintings, you can have 10 paintings, you can mix paintings and ceramics, you can mix paintings and textiles. You can do whatever you want. Incorporating your television into a gallery wall stops the TV from being the focal point of the room and allows you to express yourself in ways that you could never imagine, because you get to have as much art up on the wall as you've always dreamed of. Now, if you are not a gallery wall person, that is okay. You can actually turn your TV into a piece of art by putting a frame around it and just put a screensaver on it. Most TVs actually have that capacity, so take a picture or draw a painting, upload it onto your TV, and now you have a TV that looks like an amazing piece of art and no one has to know it's a TV. Now, this is the most important tip in today's video, so listen up. What you definitely need to do in your first apartment is segment your space, because a lot of us are working with open concepts, and when you have an open concept, it really is hard to define your living room from your dining room from your kitchen. So how do we do it? We don't want it to look like a big hallway that's just kind of a hodgepodge of things. So what I want you to do is use furniture placement, plants, and lighting to help divide the space. So what you can do is you actually use like a shelf to divide your living room and your dining room. We're just adding something that is a visual barrier that keeps the space open but does actually make it feel separate. That's what they did right here. These purple chairs are incredible, but what they did to separate the sitting room and living room is they actually just put these purple chairs near the entrance to the living room so that the rooms feel separate. Otherwise, it would have just felt like a mega room with a weird wall opening in it. So it's a hack that really works. Now, we've already talked about peel and stick wallpaper, but they actually have removable flooring and backsplashes. So I want you to entertain those as well. Sometimes when we move into a rented space, there is no backsplash at all. And backsplashes, yeah, they look pretty, but they also protect the wall from grease and grime and other things we find in our kitchens. So you can actually just add a peel and stick one. They work the same way as the wallpaper. They just have it adhesive on the back and you just stick them on the wall. You can just use an X-Acto knife or something like that to cut around the outlets so that you get a flush, perfectly crafted backsplash that nobody needs to know you can peel right off when it's time to move. Now, they don't only have backsplashes, but they have flooring as well. They work the exact same way, and adding floor tiles, one, protects the floor, but it also carries your design style downward, because chances are, sure, you're adding art up on the wall, but your design style kind of ends when you get to your knees. But adding some fun flooring and a rug on top can really add a lot of pizzazz to your floor and really make that space into your own. In most rentals, you get those wire shelves in your pantry, in your laundry room, and one of my favorite tricks is to actually cover up those wire shelves. You can actually use some plywood to cover up those wire shelves and make them look like wooden shelves. There are tons of tutorials online on how to do this, but basically, you're gonna cut the plywood down so that it takes up the exact same space as your wire shelf, and then you're going to actually create a lip as well with that plywood. You're going to glue it together, and then you're going to stain it whatever color works for you. So this may be a great opportunity to do some really fun wallpaper on that back wall, and then stain your shelves a really fun color. You may be using the same old furniture you've had forever, and if it isn't broken, definitely keep using it, but you can actually upcycle it. Don't be afraid to use paint and peel and stick wallpaper to help your furniture line up well with your new design style. chances are whatever bed you're bringing from college or your parents' house is something that just doesn't resonate with what you want right now. So you can cover it up. You can sand down your bed. You can add some peel and stick wallpaper on it. You can stain it so that it works better with your style. Don't be afraid to put your DIY hat on and use some paint, some stain, and some really affordable supplies to upcycle it. There are so many great resources here on HGTV Handmade for fun projects you can do to really make your furniture and your old pieces your own in your very first apartment. There are so many ways to spruce up your new apartment and make it feel like home. We gave you 10 tips today on how to do so, and they are all renter friendly. You can put your own spin on the space, and we cannot wait to see it. If you liked today's video, please don't forget to subscribe to HGTV Handmade and stay tuned for the next episode of Style Scientist. It was great chatting with you, and I'll see you next time.